Hi everyone, and welcome back to Stamp with Anna. And today I'm going to show you how to make this really cool bridge card. I've seen it called a U card or a bridge card, but you can see that it's like a bridge. As a bridge, and without the strap, you can see it's shaped like a U, so I guess that's where it gets its name. But it is a really cool card, and it stands up. So when your recipient gets it, they can stand it right up like that. And the great thing about it is it collapses down to fit in an A2 size envelope, which is a really great feature. And it's super simple to do. So I'm going to show you what we need for this one here. My base is thick Whisper White, and it is cut at 4 1/4 by 8, and you can get 2 of these out of 1 sheet of paper if you cut it correctly. So that includes the strap and all. So the first thing I have to do is score my panels here. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Trimmer here, and I'm going to, with my score blade, I'm going to score at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 5 1/2, and 6 3/4. Now, a trick that I showed the ladies at class the other day is, if you want to make sure that you have equal sides on either side, you can score at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, and then just flip it over and do 1 1/4 and 2 1/2. Sometimes, especially if you're doing a lot of them, it's easier to just have to make 2 score lines rather than 4. So now we have our paper, and I don't know if you can see these score lines, and we're just going to fold these sides, and we have a U, or we have a bridge. So there's the base, and how simple was that? Now all we have, okay, so now that I have my base all cut, I need to decorate the inside of it. Now this one here is a simple one. I don't have a lot of matting on it, but I am going to do a video later on that does have layers, because you know me, I like to have layers. So I excuse me, needed strips to go in on my folded pieces. This here, all of these 2 pieces and these 2 pieces are 1 1/4. So normally when you're doing your typical layering, you just cut that down 1/4. So this is 4 1/4. So my strip is going to be 4 by 1, 4 by 1, 4 by 1, and normally I would have 4 by 1 there. This piece here is going to be 4 by 2 3/4. Let me just double check that one. That one is, yes, 4 by 2 3/4. Now, the reason I don't have a piece of Designer Series paper here is because I chose to use Designer Series paper that came in a 6x6 pack. This is the Woodgrain's Designer Series, and it has a definite pattern on it. If this were floral and it didn't have a definite pattern of which way it went, I would make an extra pattern there. But I needed 6 3/4 worth of Designer Series paper. 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, and 2 3/4. That means 6 3/4. My paper is only 6. So what I chose to do was to leave this panel empty, and because my base is white, I can just sign my card right there. I can't write a whole long message, but I have the back of my card if I do want to write something a little more than just a happy birthday or whatever the occasion is, because this just simply says celebrate. So that's where I'm going to sign my card. So let me bring in my stamping trimmer. So I need, because my grains are going vertically, I need to turn my paper horizontally, and I need to cut this at 4 so that when I turn it the pattern side up, it is 4 inches. And now I need to cut the inside panels. So again, I'm going to cut 3 of them at 1 inch and my last one at 2 3/4. And you see I have just this little sliver left, and I can't use the little piece of paper that I cut because my wood grain is going differently. See what I mean there? So those are my pieces, and what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to sponge my edges on that. I'm going to bring in a little bit of Sahara sand, and I didn't do it to my first one, but I think I'm going to just give it a little bit of definition. So I'm going to just real quickly with a cut up sponge the edges of these so that when I put it down on my card base, it's going to look like it has a little outline. And it's a quick process. As you can see how quickly it's going, and it does add a little something to it. Okay, and now I have that. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach my 1 inch strip panels. I'm going to turn this over. And I'm going to put one on this first panel. I'm going to center that in there. Another one for my third panel. Center that one in there. And my last one for my fourth panel. And now I have my middle panel. Before I attach this one though, I want to stamp the strings of my balloons. So for that, I'm going to use this image right here from the Balloon Celebration stamp set. And I know I use that one all the time, but I just really like it. And so with my Memento Black, I'm going to ink up my stamp. Put a little piece of scrap paper because I'm going to stamp off of this. And because it's photopolymer, I do have my stamp mat underneath it. Straight down, straight up, and there are my strings. You really can't see them that much, but once you put the card together, it does show up. So now I'm going to attach that to my card. A little bit of snail. I'm going to put that right there. And there we go. Now with my balloon punch, I punched out some balloons. I have 3 of them in Daffodil Delight, 2 of them in Mint Macaron, and 2 of them in Balmy Blue. So I want to sponge the edges of these as well. So rather than have you watch, I'm going to go do that. I'll be right back. Okay, I have all of my balloons put together. And now I'm just going to show you how I made this strap here. For that, I have 2 pieces of cardstock. This is Daffodil Delight, and this is 5.5 by 1. And then I have a piece of Whisper White, and this is 7/8 by 5 3/8. And I'm just going to layer that together. And there is just a tiny little border on this. Now when I attach this to my card, this one I cut at 5.5, so it's going to go from end to end. So it's easy to put together, because once that's in, you'll see I have a I have these at 90 degrees. That is the secret of making sure that the card folds. If I had wanted to make these a little shorter so that I could have a little bit of border here, before I put it on, I would again need to make sure that these were set at 90 degrees. Okay, so let me bring in some snail, and I'm going to just snail up my edges, and I'm going to attach this, bring this right up to the edge there, and lay this is the first flap. I have that bent, and then I'm going to open this one up and just attach, and there we go. We have our mechanism, and you can see those are beautiful 90 degree angles. So the next thing we're going to do is just drop our balloons in there. Super simple. So I have all of my balloons here, and I'm going to take my gel pen before I attach them, and I like to just draw some white lines on my balloons. It just gives it a little bit more dimension, and the balloons look a little more realistic. And here, and here. So with some snail, I'm going to take my yellow balloon, excuse me, my blue balloon, and I'm going to drop him right about here. And take another blue balloon. I could have done this part first, but I did want to make sure that I had enough room to be able to see that. So I didn't want to put my balloons in and then not have enough space for my strap. And then I'm going to take this one up a little higher right here. And this yellow one here, I want to pop dot up. I want one of them to be a little raised, and I'm going to put that one right there. Now to make my Celebrate, I used the die called Celebrate You, and it has 3 dies in it. It has this one that says Celebrate, and then it has 2 others. One says You and one says Amazing. So I have cut that out already, and I've on a piece with a piece of balmy blue. Now when I cut it out, I could have used that double stick tape on the back and just peeled it. It would have been all adhesive, or I could have used my Zy one, but this is a little bigger, sticks up a little here, and I don't want any adhesive on that, the back part of that. So I'm going to show you what I did. I have my silicone mat, which is worth its weight in gold. And I'm going to just drop a little puddle right there. And then I'm going to come in with a sponge dauber and a little bit of ink on the back, glue on the back of that, and just sponge that glue all over my Celebrate. I'm going to center that right where I want it, and I'm going to press. Now the great thing about this silicone mat is when this dries, I can just peel this right off with my hand. See how it just comes right off? And no glue will ever stick on this, and it's not going to make a mess for my next project. So now I just have to finish putting on the rest of my balloons. So let's see. I'm going to put a yellow one on this side, right here. And I'm going to put a mint macaron over here. And another yellow one right underneath it. Right here. And I liked this wood grain because I thought it was a good birthday card for a masculine birthday card. So there you have it. I have 2 different wood grains. And like I said, when I'm going to go put this in my envelope, it's just going to fold right down and it fits right into an envelope, and you can mail that flat, and you can go on either side. Okay, so here we have it. This is, I've seen them called bridge cards and I've seen them called U-fold. So whichever way you look them up, you're sure to find a bunch of them. And it's really a simple card. You saw it's just a couple folds and then decorating the card. And it really does make a nice presentation. So if you have any questions at all about these projects or any of the products I used, please contact me through my website, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And I hope you'll come back later on this week when I'm going to show you a different card that has a little sponging, a lot more layering, but it's a bridge card just like this. Thanks so much and have a great day.